I do regret the dosage. It was just less than lethal, after all. I was really worried about you. It's taken a while for you to wake up. There were moments when I thought, but I couldn't risk it. I couldn't risk you starting to move in your sleep and risk you hurting yourself. I wouldn't want that now, would I? Easy, easy. Those restraints are as soft as they can possibly be, but they're still very tight. Keep struggling like that, and I don't know how easy it would be for you to cut yourself on them. Just calm down, okay? Everything's all right. Everything is just fine now. You still seem a bit confused. It's me. You know me. You do remember that, don't you? The tranquilizers I gave you shouldn't have affected your memory. Although they are known to make one's mind foggy upon waking, and with the dose I gave you, I guess I shouldn't be too alarmed by this. It is to be expected, after all. I'm Nagisa. Nagisa Shiota? Is that name familiar at all to you? That's very good. Very good indeed. I go to school with you. I was in your class for a while, but then my grades slipped and I got moved to E class. Do you remember that? You don't have to look so scared. I'm not going to be mad at you. I'm not going to hurt you if you shake your head no. I just want to see how your memory is holding up. That's all. So answer honestly. Your health depends on it. You don't remember that. Well, that's okay. There's still plenty of time for that memory to come back to you. Although, it is a bit of an unpleasant one, so I won't be mad if that memory slips away forever. Now then, do you remember what happened a few days ago? Do you remember when those boys from A class were talking to you? Good. I'm glad you can at least remember that. If I recall correctly, and I would certainly hope that I do, they were asking you rather inappropriate questions. It seemed to be making you quite uncomfortable. Do you remember that? That's a shame. I was hoping that you could at least forget about that part. But I suppose it is good that you remember that. After all, it'll help you understand why what happened next happened. You remember that I came over, carrying a glass bottle. I smashed it against the wall of the school, and I threatened to cut out their throats if they ever talked to you like that again. Do you remember that? It's okay, it's okay. Stop struggling. You're going to hurt yourself, remember? It's okay. It's okay. You're safe now. They can't get to you here. You flinched. When I reached toward you, you flinched. You aren't scared of me, are you? After all, why would you be? I protected you. I took you away from those horrible boys so that they could never do something like that again. Why on earth would you be afraid of me after all I've done for you? It's no good trying to speak, silly. I had to put a gag in your mouth to make sure you wouldn't scream. After all, you've never been here before. You don't recognize this place, and though I assumed you would recognize me, I couldn't hope for the best without preparing for the worst. So I had to make the difficult decision to ensure that you wouldn't scream. I had to make sure that you wouldn't draw the wrong kind of attention. I'm very sorry about that, but I didn't get to be what I am without a little bit of forethought. I still can't understand you. You know that, right? I'll make a deal with you, though. If you promise that you won't scream, I'll take the gag out of your mouth. Okay? And you have to stop struggling against your restraints. That's more for your safety. I can already see that there are bruises along your wrists. With that much twisting and turning, you're going to wind up scraping right through your skin, you know that? I can tell from the look on your face that you don't want that to happen, right? So if you can just nod your head, I'll take that as your word. Understood? And then I'll take that gag out of your mouth. That's very good. You're so obedient. I guess that explains why you're still in B class. There you go. Feeling better? Where are you? You're someplace safe. That's all you need to know. How long have you been asleep? Approximately 15 hours. Why am I doing this? I told you already, didn't I? I told you that I saw those boys, and though I scared them off, I wanted to make sure that you would always be safe. I wanted to make sure that there was no chance in hell of them saying those things to you again. And although I was tempted to cut out their tongues so they never could, I realized that if I was going to protect you, I had to do it right. And that meant making sure that absolutely no one could ever hurt you again. Of course, this was the logical conclusion. After all, let's say you have a newborn, and then someone in your household gets sick. You don't just allow them to be around the newborn at all times of the day. You keep the newborn as far away from potential infectors as you possibly can. You don't let anyone near them, not unless you're sure that they can be safe. That's what I'm doing with you. It's in our nature as humans to protect the things we love. That's all I'm doing. I assure you, I am just as human as you are. Why would you think anything else? Is that so? The way you always saw me was more snake than human. I guess I can't fault you for that. That seems to be a recurring theme, actually. So many people in my class now refer to me as a snake. And do you want to know why? It's because I'm swift and I'm sneaky. I know just how to approach someone from any angle, from any direction, and I can get them to trust me. I can make them think that I'm harmless. And then I strike. They barely get a moment to move. And do you want to know how I learned how to do this? You're not so sure you want the answer. Well, you're going to find out sooner or later. I know you well enough to know that you're stubborn and resilient. I have no doubt that sooner or later you'll try to escape. So I might as well give you a little taste of what you're in for should you ever attempt that. In the E-class, we're all training like assassins. We had a substitute teacher for a while, and he was less than pleasant. He was a professional. He heard us when we spoke out against him. But then he said that if I could successfully take him down, he would back off. I approached him, so sweet and innocent, just a kid walking to class. And then my arms and legs were around him, and a knife was pressed to his throat. I know exactly how to take someone down and how to kill them. So I guess in that way I am rather like a snake. In fact, I think I could take that comparison a step further. Like a snake, there's something that you have that I don't. Something that I need in order to survive. You're able to feel love, joy, sadness, and regret. I can't feel anything like that. Not without the help of someone else. And that someone happens to be you. So think of it as me using you like the sun. You're my little ray of sunshine, keeping me warm since I can't keep myself warm. That's really all there is to it. Of course, some people in fan fiction often like to think of it as something more romantic. For instance, some might hope that I would become so obsessed and infatuated with you that I would never want to leave your side. After all, you're the only person who can make me feel. Surely I must feel some joy or love when I'm around you. Don't get me wrong, I understand it. I especially understand the psychology behind it. Usually people who enjoy stuff like that are those who have lost others who are important to them, or they believe that no one could ever care for them, genuinely care for them. So of course they turn to something that isn't exactly normal. They imagine someone being so enamored with them that even their flaws seem lovable. Someone who would kill for them, someone who would die for them, someone who would absolutely, under no circumstances, ever leave them. I understand the desire for that. But that isn't what this is. At least not at the moment, of course. We'll see where things go from here. Oh, so suddenly I'm a monster? Earlier I thought you said I was a snake. Oh, really? You think I can be both? Well then how about I teach you a little lesson about snakes and monsters, There is something incredibly common between the two of them. And I think you'd better learn it before you do something you'll regret. If you provoke a snake, you're going to be bitten. And I don't think you want to find out what that means when the snake is in fact a human.